Hello, EKN Nation. Welcome to a new edition of the EKN OutLap. It is episode number 107, June the 6th, 2026, as we are previewing this coming weekend Superkarts USA Pro Tour Spring Nationals. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole, and today's show presented by Comet Kart Sales. History, success, family. These are three words that describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation is located just outside Indianapolis and has provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers in their near 6 decades of business. Their brand new, updated online store features everything you need, and they are continually adding new parts to their product line. Make sure you head to CometKartSales.com or call them at 317-462-3413 to be part of the Comet Kart Sales family today. All right, David Cole, let's do it. You've been home for a number of weeks. Time to get back trackside. We're heading down, for me, for the first time, you many times, to the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati.
Yeah, June. Excuse me. I should have cleared my throat before we started. June 12th through the 14th at Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, as you said, in Batavia, Ohio. It's going to be rounds 3 and 4 of the 6-round championship program for the majority of the categories. Of course, Pro Shifter running their Pro Show format, and that'll be the second round for that category as we are going to the halfway point of the 17th season of this championship that began back in 2010.
Yeah.
And Rob, that's the one thing I talked with Cameron Reed yesterday in our On Track with CKNA podcast before the show, and the weather in that Cincinnati region, it's not very friendly.
No,
it's typically either hot or rainy and hot or muggy.
Well, what are we getting this time?
Well, it could be a mixture of everything.
My goodness, man.
High temperature.
Yeah,
high temperature seems to be around the 86 mark for all 3 days, which is pretty good. It's better than in the 90s, I will say that.
Let's do that.
Who knows what the humidity will be, because we have a 62% chance of rain as of this morning for Friday. Saturday looks really good with only a 6% chance of rain, but it increases up to 42% on Sunday. So it's kind of the unknown. We don't quite know what the weather will be. We just saw the RMC America's Trophy finale weekend at Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati go without any rain, so that's a positive. So maybe the Pro Tours. What's that?
Let's cross our fingers.
Yeah, so maybe the Pro Tour is going to be the sufferer of the 2 weekends. I'm not sure. But again, anything could happen, because there was a threat. Talking with Cameron, she said there was a threat all last weekend and it never really came. So,
all right.
That's a positive.
Well, listen, we make it to see who's good in the wet. Again, I've always said that, right? It's not the best for the families and the teams and cleaning up afterwards. But man, it's nice to see every once in a while when you get a rain race, you see who really is able to handle those tricky conditions.
Yeah, and if it does rain, I just prefer it rained all day. We hate seeing the mechanics, trying to go back and forth between dry and wet. It does provide great drama. We love watching and witnessing, drivers, taking a gamble on either dry tires or wet tires. That's the fun part for us on the media side.
True.
But for the competitors and the team owners and the mechanics that are there wrenching away, it can be quite a hassle.
Dave, let's talk about the track itself. My first visit to the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, the third visit for Superkarts USA. The track opened back in 2007. It's crazy, almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was just a country club. It was just a place where people would make laps before the Bailiff family and their partners took over the facility and eventually started growing it into a club program. And now it's become a stop on the national scene for multiple programs. And nearly every single organization that travels throughout the East Coast or across the country are visiting MCC this year. With Rotax, SCUSA, STARS, USPKS, CKNA, all the big major programs visiting this facility in outside the downtown area of Cincinnati, Ohio. Quite a technical racetrack, 16 turns, was recently repaved and extended in 2022. And this will be the third year that Superkarts USA is hosting the Spring Nationals at MCC.
Track just under a mile in length, as we mentioned, national counterclockwise direction, and looking forward to getting there. Let's have a look at the event schedule as well, David. Pretty much a standard Superkarts USA program. Thursday, unofficial practice run by Superkarts USA, but things start getting busy on Friday, eventually getting into all the official sessions.
That part, I think that actually the track runs Thursday. I might have misspoke on that one because it is unofficial practice. So
that's true.
With Tucson, Sousa needed to step in because there wasn't quite the staff, but I think MCC does run Thursday. But the schedule remains the same as far as what we did see at Tucson with 5 rounds of practice. They're going to that 7-7-7-12-7 format to allow that 4th session to be the one where drivers can see how their setup is for the long run, and giving them a 12-minute session where the last 7-minute session will be used essentially as a pre-qualifying session to line up the fields for the qualifying sessions, both for Saturday and Sunday. And then round 3 will be on Saturday, warm-up qualifying pre-final, which will be 10 laps, 8 laps for cadet. And then our main events will be 20 laps for all categories except for cadet, which will be 18. And we'll do the same thing for round 4 on Sunday with the same lap distances for those categories. And of course, our Pro Shifter, the Pro Show category, Saturday features a warm-up qualifying Super Pole session where we bring the top 12 drivers from both groups into the, or 6 from each group into the Super Pole session, which will be 12 drivers. We'll set up those 12 drivers from that green-white checkered session, and we'll get into our 12-lap heat races. There'll be 2 rounds on Saturday, and then Sunday warm-up pre-final, which will be 14 laps, and then the 25-lap main event to kick off the main event action on Sunday.
I like it. Yeah, folks, getting things underway here for the OutLap preview podcast of this coming weekend Superkarts USA SpringNationals. We'll head to a quick break here. When we get back, we'll dive in to By the Numbers. Be part of the premier regional kart racing series in the Lone Star State. Take part in the 2026 Texas Sprint Racing Series with their 5-race schedule that travels all over Texas and Louisiana. The season begins in March at the Speed Sports Racing Park in New Caney, Texas, before traveling east to the NOLA Motorsports Park in New Orleans at the beginning of May. The newly renamed Amarillo Motorsports Park in Panhandle, Texas will host the middle stop of the season in June. Trips to Kart Moto and Speed Sports complete our calendar, and we're excited to welcome all of our racers back to the track. The Texas Sprint Racing Series will make its 3rd trip to the Kart Moto facility in Crescent, Texas at the end of August, after a month off in July, before drivers and teams will contest the series finale in late September, returning to Speed Sports Racing Park in Houston. Don't miss any of the action. Details on the rules and class structure, which includes the new Tillotson T4 senior category, can be found at TexasSprintSeries.com, along with a list of the full championship prize package for the official Superkarts USA and International Kart Federation Series. The Texas Sprint Racing Series will be one of the biggest programs in the U.S. in 2026. Make sure you're there.
Welcome to AIM Sports and the groundbreaking Micron 6 karting data logger. Since its inception, AIM Sports has been at the forefront of motorsport technology, revolutionizing how racers gather data. From its early days, AIM has tailored its innovations to provide precise insights, allowing racers to fine-tune their strategies and push their limits. Fast forward to today, and we're excited to celebrate 30 years of Micron by introducing the latest evolution in karting data loggers, the Micron 6. Designed with cutting-edge features, including 25Hz GPS with mil-spec precision, a 6-axis inertial platform, shift lights and alarms, temperature inputs, and a host of wired and wireless expansions. With 2 CAN buses, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi, it's perfect for karting enthusiasts looking to enhance their game on the track. With its advanced suite of sensors, high-speed data acquisition, and easy-to-use interface, the Micron 6 delivers unparalleled performance on track. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, this powerful tool helps you analyze every turn, every lap, even every heartbeat. Imagine a tool that not only records your lap times, but also analyzes parameters like speed, tire temperature, driver inputs, and engine performance. With the Micron 6, you'll gain insights that can shave seconds off your times and elevate your skills behind the wheel. Don't just drive, be data-driven. Join the AIM Sports community today and equip yourself with the Micron 6 to take your karting experience to the next level. Visit aimsports.com to learn more. AIM Sports, 30 years of Micron.
Welcome back to episode 107 of the EKN OutLap, kicking off our EKN Trackside coverage of this coming weekend Superkarts USA SpringNationals, midway point in the Pro Tour for 2026. As we always do, let's get into the By the Numbers segment. David, you've been able to go through all the entry lists that Superkarts USA has provided to us. And what are we looking at here in terms of pre-entries coming into the weekend?
Yeah, just down about 50 entries from the Winter Nationals. I think that's part of the kind of the West Coast contingent that did take part in the event we had back in March at Tucson, Arizona for the Musselman Honda Circuit. So we're, numbers aren't too bad. The biggest drop off that we're seeing is in Pro X30, where it's nearly half the field that we had in Tucson, going from 42 down to just 23 drivers. So that's a big big drop in terms of numbers.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to maybe talk to some people, compare some of the lineups. You think, David, it's just a lot of West Coast guys just didn't want to make the trek to the East Coast? Is that what you're thinking? Or
again, got the entry list this morning. Haven't really been able to break down specifics in terms of that. But again, just looking at the numbers, it's a big drop off. But again, that was March. Now we're into June. A lot of things happen in terms of scheduling, where people race, where people don't race. But again, we're still going to see a majority of the championship contenders, if not that's all of the top 10 from what I remember doing our class by class previews in that category. So we're good there. Pro Shifter down to 33. So again, down 13 from Tucson. So I expect that to get bumped back up for Newcastle, because again, MCC is a tough track, Rob. That's something we said in the first first segment. And especially for the shifter categories, a lot of shifting, a lot of technical corners to be, and a lot of defending as well too, in the shifter ranks.
So again, a number of classes dropping. KA Master goes from 18 down to 7. There was a really solid field out in Tucson. Lost a couple as well, 12 down in KA 100 Senior. As David mentioned, 19 down in Pro X30. The drop as well of 13 in Pro Shifter, but there's increases in Micro Swift, Mini Swift, and KA Junior. 24 to 25 now for Micro. 25 drivers in the Micro category, 23 in the Mini Swift category. So 48 cadet drivers in total across the two categories. Only a 2-driver or 2-entry drop in X30 Junior. And then +5 in KA 100 Junior. David, up to 35 in the KA Junior class.
Yeah, the largest category that we're going to have. So based on pre-entry numbers thus far. And then that's part of I think the East Coast, coming back to the East Coast, that's where you're getting some of the younger drivers, because demographically, I think, we're seeing bigger numbers here on the East Coast compared to the West Coast in terms of young drivers that are racing at this level. So I think that's where you see the bump up for those categories. So yeah. And again, I would have thought we'd seen more Masters since we had that 18 on the West Coast. So we maybe would have saw more of the East Coast guys jump in. But again, it's just they're very limiting their schedules for some reason.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, quick break. Again, we get back. Let's start into the class by class previews. We'll have a look at the pro categories after this break: Pro Shifter and Pro X30. What brand is known around the world for its innovation and success? It is Superkarts. And in the U.S., Velocity Racing is their distributor and official race team. The Superkarts brand is among the top chassis around the globe and here in North America. And the recent successes include the FIA Karting World Championships in KZ last year, and in multiple championships and at different levels here in the USA. The French manufacturer is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers products in classes from mini karts to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Velocity Racing also works with its expanded dealer network, bringing the Sodi brand to several local clubs and regional programs. Visit velocityracing.com to learn more about the Sodi kart chassis and the racing program, or call 407-270-3042 to become part of the Velocity Racing network today. Velocity Racing and Sodi Kart, leaders in the karting industry. There's no other brand in karting more recognized across the globe than Rotax. Race Rotax is proud to provide a platform for Rotaxians to compete across the U.S. from the grassroots level all the way to the international stage, featuring the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals. The path to Portugal for the 2026 RMC Grand Finals begins with the inaugural season for the RMC Americas Trophy. This two-event, four-round championship begins at the Musselman Honda Circuit in Tucson, Arizona on March 20th to the 22nd and concludes at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati in Batavia, Ohio on June 5th to 7th. 4 tickets to the 2026 Rotax Grand Finals will be awarded through the best 3 of 4 championship format. The emerging FC Shifter program, featuring the FC85 and the FC125, will be part of the RMC America's Trophy program for those looking to shift gears in Arizona and Ohio. Be sure to add the RMC Trophy Final to your schedule, set for July 31st to August 2nd at the Newcastle Motorsports Park in Newcastle, Indiana. Additional tickets to the 2026 Rotax Grand Finals will be awarded through this one-off event. Visit racerotax.com to learn more about the RMC America's Trophy program. Race Rotax, an experience like no other. Welcome back to the OutLap here for this coming weekend. Superkarts USA Spring Nationals, all here on the EKN Radio Network. Rob Howard alongside David Cole. David, let's jump into the Pro Shifter category presented by PSL Karting. 33 entries as we detailed in the By the Numbers. Mateus Morgado coming out with that big win in Tucson at the Winter Nationals to start off the season, but it is Jay Irwin who leads the championship with the amount of points he was able to pull in on that weekend. He's got a 15-point lead over Mateus Morgado. Danny Formal back by 40. Marian Kremers and Billy Musgrave, 54 and 65 back, respectively. Long way to go in the championship. 33 drivers set to take the green.
Yeah, Irwin had a heat win and a pre-final win to his credit in Tucson, so that helped gave him a little bit of an advantage over Morgado, who did end up winning the main event, while Irwin was sitting on the outside of the podium there in the 4th spot for the main event. Morgado was quickest in qualifying, so he did get 10 bonus points there. So, yeah, just 15 points separating those top 2 drivers. Irwin's done really well at this racetrack. Morgado did as well back in 2024 when he was the Pro Tour champion. I believe that was the first year of the Pro Show, if I remember correctly. So I'm pretty sure he won that weekend. If at least once, if not twice. I'm trying to remember without going back to my notes here on that. But yeah, these two both know this racetrack pretty well and do very well at the racetrack. So I got to expect they'll be in the hunt as well. But you know, the sleeper, the veteran, the master age driver, or soon to be maybe Danny Formal sitting there in 3rd, very calculated. I don't think he's been to MCC. I'm trying to think back to that.
Interesting.
So this could be something new for him, but he loves these tight technical racetracks, I think. So we'll see how it does for him over the weekend, obviously as part of the big contingent that is the GFC tent there for the Pro Shifter category. That includes Gulick, Wick, Pickett. Now returning back is where does his name go again? Ethan Boer back under the GFC tent.
There you go.
So yeah, again, they're coming in guns blazing again. Wick and Gulick didn't quite have the weekends they wanted in Tucson, as Formal led the way for that crew. But yeah, so those are the top 3. Kremers done well as well at MCC before. Musgrave, I believe, won a Stars race here a couple years back when he was doing the full Stars schedule as well. So again, a lot of potential, especially for the top 5 in the championship.
Yeah, big dogs, as we know, the kind of the foundation of the category the last number of years, all on the docket as well. AJ Myers. We've also got Vincenzo Saraceno, Charlie Steins, both those drivers on the grid as well. Justin White will be running. Josh Conker, who's obviously a former SCUSA winner. David, what do you think about got Andrew Budishel back out here as well with Magic Kart?
Yeah, he's the disruptor. He's the wild card in the field. Definitely knows this racetrack, being in the Ohio driver. So he could be one to watch. Obviously, as you said, Conker, who won here at the SpringNationals. So he's a defending race winner. Didn't quite have the Winter Nationals he wanted to. It was actually probably his first race, I think, since Vegas. So it was a little bit of a shaking off the rust type deal.
Just doesn't get the time to test either, does he?
Well, yeah, living in Canada and not traveling to other events,
full-time job.
So yeah, that's part of it. But yeah, so he comes in as the defending winner. He could be a surprise element as well. That's something we did see last year, Rob, in the pro shifter category, is a lot of surprises in terms of how races unfolded, with Conker coming through with that victory last year here at MCC. Obviously, Billy Musgrave pulling off, or Formal winning last year's Summer Nationals, Musgrave winning the championship without even a win. So a lot happened in 2025. So we could see the same thing happen, but seemed like the cream of the crop were at the front in Tucson. One driver we don't see on the entry list, however, is our EKN driver rankings #1 driver, Adrian Renaudin.
Yeah.
We just did a hot seat with him. He talked about how he didn't like MCC. It was his least favorite racetrack, but he's not on the entry list. And this could be part of the new restructuring that Velocity Racing is undergoing. Mm-hmm. I thought he was going to be there. There was no word that he wasn't. We talked with Rick Rosen from Velocity Racing, and he did mention that Morgado and McQueen are the essentially lead drivers for the team. Yep. So we'll have to see. It could be an at-track entry. Not quite sure, but we could see our #1 driver not competing this weekend.
I'm looking here as well. We're missing #5 as well, Gavin Bailiff. Is that going to be an at-track entry, you think?
That I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So he wasn't on my entry list or my top 10 in the points, so I didn't even look for him. Yeah, I missed him there. I got to assume probably an at-track entry, being at his home racetrack. I wouldn't see why. Coming off a big win, picked up the FZ 125 senior category victory at the RMC America's Trophy race last weekend. Swept in his class debut. So I got to assume maybe it was just a clerical error. I got to assume.
Possibly.
Yeah, well, I got to assume he'll be racing.
So other drivers to watch for, of course, Gage Korn, the young driver, stepping up into the pro shifter category. Ashton Henkel's been good over the last little bit as well. But Dave, let's talk a little bit of Italian Motors and the Italkart Factory program with Massimo Valiente. But he's got a teammate that we should be watching here this weekend as well.
Yeah, one of the issues we saw in Tucson was the absence of, oh my gosh, I can't think of his name, Rousseau.
Yep.
Corentin Rousseau did not start the main event, had a philosophy issue with the team.
Yes.
In terms of conditions and setup, and decided not to run the main event. I believe he's been replaced. His seat has been replaced by Theo Blin, the French driver. He's actually a French KZ2 champion, coming off a big weekend at the FIA Karting European Championships in the KZ2 category, winning all 4 of his heat races. Didn't quite get on the podium in the main event, but this guy could be a factor. We've seen Massimo step up his game throughout the last year. So these could be. We saw Rousseau as the potential winner last year until Conker made that late move for the lead and the victory. So we know the Italkart goes fast at this racetrack. So that could be a sleeper pick as well.
Yeah, keep an eye on Teo Blinn. We'll be talking about him a lot in the Kart Chaser broadcast. And of course, David's coverage will follow him as well. Let's move down to the Pro X30 category, David, brought to you by Nash Motorsports. Just 23 entries, a big drop for Pro X30 from the Winter Nationals out in Tucson. Joe Turney came away as the dominant factor out in Musselman Honda Circuit to start the year. He leads the points by 115 over Gus Lawrence. Paulie Massimino with 140 points back. Sean Butcher, 202 points back. Jake Drew, 263 points back. Missing a couple of drivers. We'll get to that in a bit, David. But let's have a look at the grid as you see now of who we should be watching.
Well, of course, Turney, as you said, leading the championship. He's going to be the driver to watch. I don't believe he's been to this racetrack before. I think that's another story to kind of watch. But as we've seen, he's done really well going to racetracks he's never been to. He's never been to Tucson, pulled off 2 victories there. But Lawrence has won here before, knows this racetrack. So that's a little nod to him, as Lawrence never been to Tucson as well. So that could be a little bit of an advantage going into the weekend, at least. Massimino's won at this racetrack before. He's doing well. The driver, however, not on the entry list. I got to think this is another clerical situation. Sean Butcher, who sits there in the 4th spot in the championship, did race this past weekend at the RMC America's Trophy event. Yep. So I got to assume he's going to be staying over for this weekend to compete, sitting there 4th in the championship. But that's something we'll have to confirm with either RPG or once we get Trackside Thursday.
Yeah, RPG with obviously a lot of bullets in the gun. Donovan Bonilla, Jose Halfin, Fionn Shee. Is this Fion's? Did he move up to senior this year?
Yeah, he was. He was part of the. I thought he made his debut at. It might have been the Winter Series where he made his debut in the senior ranks, but he wasn't at the Winter Nationals. So yeah, Fionn up to the senior ranks. In 2026. It's actually Bonilla going back to RPG, as he has been with Speed Concepts Racing. So a return home for the former Super Nationals winner.
David, I'll tell you, when I kind of looked at the grid here, I know it's just 23 entries, maybe 24 or 25, as you're talking about a couple of guys that could be at track entries. But man, I usually go through the spreadsheet, kind of highlight people. It's you almost have to highlight the entire field, because although it's small, like it's just Caden McQueen, Ruben Moya, Blake Nash, James Overbeck, Diego Ramos, Davin Roberts. Like that's just this one segment here, right? It's just Jesus Vasquez Jr., Macy Williams. Like it's Oliver Hodgson. It is a packed field of drivers.
Yeah, Macy coming off a up and down weekend last weekend for the Road Tax race that they did have there last weekend. So she's got some laps under her belt, so she could be a surprise. We saw her come on late throughout the Tucson weekend as a good pace setter. Again, the smaller field, you kind of keep going back and highlighting lots and lots of drivers.
Wow,
and Blake Nash raced this past weekend with factory karts in the Road Tax program. So he's going to be jumping back with his Nash Motorsports team on the OTK brand, but got a little one-off there for the Road Tax weekend. I think Oliver Hodgson wasn't able to come back to race the Road Tax race. So Hodgson returned back as his lead role in the single speed for factory karts, and got to expect he's going to be had a DQ in round 1 at Tucson, and was a podium finisher originally before the disqualification for, I believe it was a fairing situation. I think that was the disqualification that round. So Hodgson probably going to be a big factor on the weekend.
I would think so as well. PSL karting, of course, with Eric Doan and Diego Ramos. White and black at GFC, represented by a number of drivers as well. Turner Brown, we talked about. We talked about Jake Drew already. Keegan Kaminsky. Again, Gary Carlton with a lot of top guns ready to go at it as well. Again, like I said, this whole field is absolutely packed, start to finish. It's going to be, let's say we end up with 25 or 26, because again, Finnegan Bailiff not on there right now. I would think that maybe he will get entered trackside. I would be surprised if they didn't race this weekend. But it's just an absolutely all-star field in the Pro X30 class.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting racing. 2 rounds of racing, so that's the positive. Will we see Turney continue with his streak, or will we see 2 new winners on the weekend?
David, you mentioned no Sean Butcher, but no Alexander Vanchev either on the list.
That's another name missing on the entry list. I got to assume he's got some car stuff going on, unless it's another clerical situation with RPG. Not, again, Butcher not on the list and Vanchev not on the list, but I think Vanchev's doing a little bit more car stuff, so it could be a schedule conflict. Not sure exactly on that. So again, something we'll have to check out.
All right, off to another break. When we come back, we'll continue our class-by-class previews here for this coming weekend SpringNationals. It will be KA Senior, X30 Junior, and KA Junior next on the docket. There's a new hot-button name in American safety equipment, Stilo USA. Every product with Stilo is focused on safety, comfort, and function. Stilo USA is happy to provide you with the proper safety apparel to keep you protected on the track, and their karting lineup is second to none. New to the product lineup is the Stilo Carbon CMR karting helmet. Designed to revolutionize your karting experience, this carbon fiber crafted helmet is among the lightest on the market, without compromising on safety. The Stilo ST5 KRT karting helmet is manufactured using a lightweight and extremely strong composite material. The KRT provides an excellent fit and comfort level due to its dual-density interior foam lining, and it's equipped with a symmetrical visor that offers excellent vision and an effortless central visor locking system. The Stilo ST5 CMR standard was developed jointly by the FIA Institute and Snell Memorial Foundation to ensure safer and lighter weight helmets for younger karters. Drivers rave about the superior comfort levels, lightweight construction, and the unparalleled field of vision that is perfect for the youth helmet line. Stilo didn't stop with their helmets either. The newly developed Carbon Curva rib protector is unlike any other on the market, with a form-fitting solution to offer superior protection. The Carbon Curva 8870 version is FIA homologated and includes a chest protector. Head to StiloHelmets.com to review these products and many more to keep you safe on the track. Stilo. Any competition, one helmet. CRG is one of the most iconic brands in the world of karting with a never-ending focus on winning. Kart CRG USA is the North American distributor for all CRG products. Based outside of Houston, Texas, Kart CRG USA supports CRG dealers across the continent, reaching every corner of North America. The CRG KT5 has been designed specifically for the US market. The KT5 is the perfect fit for X30, KA100, and other tag platforms, featuring the new Aero package and VEN 11B braking system. For cadet drivers, the CRG Black Beer continues to log in victories and championships across the globe, and is utilized in both 2-cycle and 4-cycle competition here in North America. Longtime CRG drivers will be happy to know the CRG Road Rebel, the standard in quality and performance, continues its excellence for those in the shifter kart ranks. The CRG FS4 chassis is the ideal choice for racers in Briggs & Stratton competition, with numerous podium results across classes at the CKNA divisional and national events. From pure racing to karting entertainment, many tracks, both indoor and outdoor, have made the switch to the CRG Centurion rental kart line. 5 different models for both gas-powered or electric engines can fit any track's needs for a new rental kart fleet. Kart CRG USA has a full inventory of rental karts available for new and existing facilities. For more information on the CRG product line, head to kartcrgusa.com, or to inquire about a North American dealer near you, please email us at sales@kartcrg.com. Back at it here on the OutLap, episode number 107. The Superkarts USA SpringNationals coming this weekend at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati. The Pro Tour continuing as it rolls its way through to the season-ending Summer Nationals at Newcastle Motorsports Park. We'll dive now into the KA100 senior category, brought to you by Kart CRG USA. 35 entries in total. The victories at the Winter Nationals split by Ruben Moya and Paulie Massimino. But David, it is Caden McQueen who comes in with the point lead, consistency over the weekend. 25 points up on Paulie Massimino, 95 points up on Chase Hand, Dean Peterson back by 160, and Jackson Gibson by 162.
Yeah, we don't have McQueen on the entry list, but as we talked about the new velocity racing structure, McQueen is doing double duty for them at SCUSA competition. So I got to expect he will be trackside Thursday, but racing both X30 and KA, coming in with 2 runner-up finishes from Tucson to lead the championship chase. So that's part of the championship breakdown. Also, Dean Peterson not in the field. He's over in Europe racing cars. And then, of course, we've already mentioned Alexander Vanchev not on the entry list. He sits P7 in the championship in this category, as he was another driver doing double duty along with McQueen and Massimino.
Who else is jumping out for you now then?
I'm sorry?
Who else is jumping out for you then for this?
Oh, jumping. I thought you said gelling. No. Sorry. Early morning hearing problems. Yeah, well, you go to Ohio, you got to think Isaac Malkit going to the home states, along with the James Overback, who's won here at MCC before. Diego Ramos has done really well. He's defending champion in this category, so he's done well. Didn't quite have the Tucson weekend he wanted to have with a DNF in the Sunday main event after standing on the podium in third. Those are some of the quick first names that jump out at me. Eli Warren, another kind of Midwest local driver as well, the privateer coming in and racing at MCC, has done really well in the past as well at this racetrack. I
look as well for National Motorsports, Colin Lloyd, right? Always up in the fight in the KA senior categories. We already mentioned Chase Hand. How about Caleb Gaffera back at it with Holtz Driver Development? Looking forward to seeing Caleb back out.
Yeah, was sitting 6th in the championship right now with a couple of top 10 performances back in Tucson. So Caleb, one of the lead drivers there at Holtz Driver Development, doing both driver coaching and driving at the same time for him.
Jose Halfin with Rawlson Performance Group. How about we give a shout out to Matthew Cagle from Formula Works? He's been kind of stepping things up as well. Like to see if he's top 10 this weekend.
Yeah, again, making his senior debut in 2026, so got his feet wet at the SCUSA Winter Series program, and I don't think he finished sits 12th in the championship right now. Again, another actually he was one of the top finishers on Saturday, and he also had a disqualification as well, but came back to finish in the top 5 on Sunday in the category. So he could be another surprise. Not necessarily a surprise, but another element in the battle for the victories on the weekend. And you mentioned Colin Lloyd. This is going to be his second weekend with Nash Motorsports, moving away from Velocity Racing. So Lloyd, a former Speed Concepts Racing, Velocity Racing, now moving over to Nash Motorsports for the Florida driver.
As you said, top 3 in the points, top 4 of the top 5, all will be there. McQueen, Massimino, and Hand ready to battle it out here again over the weekend. 2 main events, as we know, for KA Senior. Let's move to X30 Junior right now. Have a look at the grid here. Rawlson Performance Group, the sponsor of the category. 28 entries coming in. Ashton Woon and Travis Pettit splitting the wins at the Musselman Honda Circuit at the Winter Nationals. Pettit leads Woon by 40 points coming into the weekend. Tristan Murphy, Royce Vega, and Enzo Di Gennaro there as well. All 3 of those drivers 100-plus back. So need good weekends to settle things in before the run to the Summer Nats. But David, what else we got for news-wise? Royce Vega not on the entry list right now?
Yeah, we don't have Vega on the entry list, so again, could be a clerical situation or not racing. Something I get this in the morning. I can't as soon as we try and record it to get going on the weekend. I don't quite necessarily have time. We're working on a remedy. I'm going to have that fixed by the time we get to Summer Nationals to have a little bit more leeway on some of this information.
Yeah, listen, we do the best we can to get this thing banged out on a Tuesday, so we're ready to go because we're traveling, of course, on Thursday morning. But again, you know the guys that are going to be in the fight. You know Asher Moon's going to be in there. You know Travis Pettit's going to be in there. But do we take the time to talk about Travis Pettit and the move to Brandon Jarsicrack Racing?
Well, of course, major news for them. Both Pettit leaving Rollison Performance Group, moving over to Brandon Jarsicrack Racing, made their debut together at the Stars Championship Series with a victory in the KA category there that weekend. So, Pettit's definitely it'll be quite interesting to see, firsthand how that new partnership's working out. Woon staying with Speed Concepts Racing. They were actually teammates last year under that tent before Pettit made the late move at the end of the year to Rollison Performance Group. So essentially Pettit's now, I think, at his fourth different team. Was with TB Kart for a while there, moved over to Speed Concepts Racing, jumped over to Rollison Performance Group, now racing with Brandon Jarsicrack Racing. So a very speed-esque career path so far for Pettit with all the different teams.
You're going deep onto that one, David.
I did. A lot of people don't. Yeah, a lot of people won't get that, but me and you do.
We do. We 100% do. Again, we mentioned Enzo Di Janeiro in the championship points. Talked about him a little bit already. Other drivers to watch. Right? Again, Tristan Murphy. We talk about Brandon Jarsicrack Racing to Travis Pettit alongside Marco Samet. We know he'll be in the middle of the fight. Formula Works has got Braden Wagner as well. Mateo Calderon for Speed Concepts alongside Asher Woon and Nathan Goldseth in there. What about Nico Katowski? David, he's been stepping up big time here in 2026. Trinity Karting Group on the Barrel Art chassis, also the home for TKG, right? At the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati. So could be a big weekend for Nico to step up and win one for the team.
Yeah, definitely could be. Came in, had a DQ in the round one at Tucson, came back to be runner up on Sunday. So definitely has shown the speed. And again, making, I think this is his second year in the junior ranks. So he's definitely made the stride to kind of be one of the more consistent contenders in the junior ranks. And so I would certainly not be surprised to see him towards the front of the field on the weekend. So yeah, Goldseth, Samet, Katowski, Wagner, those are some of the names I was kind of looking at.
The other ones I have highlighted here were Asher Pavan and Maxwell Macha, a couple of drivers we've seen, running up front, the ability to win. Macha. I was
going to say Macha, coming off 2 wins at the RMC Americas Trophy at MCC. So yes, do not be shocked. Didn't quite have the weekend he wanted in Tucson, sitting 11th in the championship in this category. So he could come through, and if he did, it could be a what do we call that? Back-to-back jacks.
Back-to-back jacks, baby. You'll see if he's able to do it. Yeah.
See if he's able to pull off four wins in 2 weekends.
So a lot of the same names as we move into KA 100 Junior, presented by TKG Barrel Art USA. 35 entries in the KA Junior class. Nico Orbezo and Ashton Woon winning at Tucson. Woon with the point lead over Pettit by 55. Colton Schniegenberg in there as well. Johnson and Goldseth, 4th and 5th, 94 and 120 back, respectively. Largest field, David, you mentioned in the by the numbers at 35, the biggest field we have. Maybe we'll get some walk-ups to push it up to 40. But otherwise, 35 drivers set to go, and Woon and Pettit ready to face off again here in the KA category as well.
Yeah, and this one's a bit more of a battle. A lot more drivers kind of in the mix in terms of that. Goldseth was on the podium on Sunday. Wagner was on the podium on Saturday, along with Orbezo picking up the victory there on Saturday and had a DQ on Sunday. I can't remember what that was for, but Orbezo was a competitive driver throughout the weekend. He's coming off picking up the actual Rotax Grand Finals ticket for winning the RMC America's Trophy Championship. So he's going to be representing Team USA at the Rotax Grand Finals in mid-November, unfortunately the same weekend as the SuperNationals. So again, thanks to the war, thank you very much for that, and the scheduling conflict that brought up all that movement. But congrats to Orbezo. We'll have that race report actually up later today on EKN.
Nice. Again, a lot of drivers we expected. David mentioned a deeper field. There's a lot of drivers to watch in this one here. We mentioned Marco Samet in the X30 preview. Nico Katowski as well, Mateo Calderon, all these drivers doing double duty on the weekend. Tristan Murphy will be in there as well. Nathan Ramirez for Team Benek, Valentino Santillan for Holtz Driver Development. Just a ton of great drivers here. But again, we are seeing that split, David, where drivers coming out of the mini class for the first time, starting in KA 100 Junior, not diving in right into the X30 class, which I think is good. Great opportunity to kind of get in there at KA Junior first, and then maybe add the double duty the second year.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to look real quick. Yeah, Alex Chandler, one of the only drivers to not double dip that's kind of sitting. Him and Cameron Johnson are two drivers not doing both categories, sitting there in the top 10. So Chandler could be one, picked up 2 top 5 finishes there in Tucson. So he could be a factor on the weekend.
No doubt. Excuse me, David. So there you go. That's a lineup there. Again, a number of drivers doing double duty. Not everybody, but there's a lot of drivers running both X30 Junior and KA 100. There's that group there. We get back after this break. We're going to cap things off. Final break in the show. We'll look at KA 100 Master in both the mini and micro swift categories. All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the United States, OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. 8 brands under the OTK USA banner are winning races and championships across the country in national programs like the Rock Cup USA Florida Winter Tour, the Challenge of the Americas, the SCUSA Pro Tour and Winter Series, the United States Pro Kart Series, and even more programs throughout the country. And OTK products are also front and center on the podium of club and regional races from coast to coast. Tony Kart, Cosmic, Esprit, EOS, and Red Speed have been joined by the Gallard, LN Racing Kart, and CS55 brands. To learn more about a specific product line or to find the OTK USA dealer near you, visit otkusa.com. Specific chassis territories are still available, so kart shops interested in adding a winning component to their product lineups can contact OTK USA directly. OTK, the gold standard of karting. Motor mounts. They keep your engine attached to your chassis, right? The answer is, they're much more important than that. Your motor mount is critical in transferring 100% of the power from your engine through to your tires and the racetrack. You need this to get on the podium each and every time you race. Odenthal Racing Products is here for you, providing the best motor mounts on the karting market today, all designed to make sure you're using all the horsepower you pay for. Odenthal Racing Products is a family-owned and operated business with decades of karting experience in providing products with unmatched quality and value for our racing community. The Pro Series mount for 2-cycle engines, which is available in 0, 5, and 8-degree inclinations, provides a rigid structure to help keep vibration to a minimum without adding too much weight to your setup. The 4-cycle Easy Set system is one of the most popular mounts for the Briggs & Stratton 206 power plant. Multiple mounting holes provide the most adjustability depending on your chassis and seat placement. To ensure a tight fit to your chassis, our ORP wedge clamps get the job done, and they feature a number of design updates to provide a lower profile and lighter weight. The clamps are available from 28mm to 32mm in both standard and Euro style sizes. And now, Odenthal has also revolutionized the karting industry with its new Easy GP camera mounting system. Designed to mount anywhere on your chassis with 1 or 2 cameras, the ORP Easy GP camera mount is your solution to capture that onboard winning moment. Head to odenthalracing.com and find a dealer near you. Odenthal Racing Products, proudly made in the USA. Time to wrap things up for this edition of the EKN OutLap, our preview podcast, kicking off our EKN Trackside coverage of this coming weekend's Superkarts USA Spring Nationals, all part of the SCUSA Pro Tour. My name's Rob Howden, joined by David Cole. We'll cap things off here, Dave. Let's have a look at the KA 100 Master category presented by Evinco. Just the 7 entries. Really disappointing after having 18 strong out in Tucson, where Phil DeLeo was able to grab both victories. But Bailey Murphy was right in there for the fight. They scrapped it out. Josh Charchet, Mario Barrios, and Scott Falcone. We're missing a lot of guys, which is a shame. Scott Falcone not out for this one here. So hate to see these drivers not in the fight when we're continuing on with the Pro Tour.
Yeah, I would have thought Bailey Murphy with such a good weekend in Tucson to continue on racing against his fellow Arizona drivers and Phil DeLeo and Josh Sargé. Barrios, obviously a veteran in the Masters category, returning. So 3 of the top 4, again, missing with Murphy and Falcone not in the lineup. But cool to see John May, a driver we saw back in the early days of the Pro Tour, racing up front in the tag senior division, now making his KA Master debut with Brandon Jarzakrak racing this weekend.
Yeah, indeed. I would love to have seen a bigger field, but it is what it is. That's what happens, the ebbs and flows. Let's go to the Mini Swift category presented by Mega Power Engines. 23 entries. Mason Brody coming away, David, with a couple of wins there out in Tucson. Gives him a 25-point lead over Dutch Westbrook. Jake Manalio, Lucas Tarango, and Hudson Howard all in the fight there as well. A little bit of motion. New driver making a move, but otherwise 23 drivers set to go this weekend.
Yeah, Brody actually picked up one win and the championship at the RMC America's Trophy event this past weekend at MCC. So Brody with a lot of momentum going into the weekend, as you said, the championship leader, already picking up the RMC championship. A lot of momentum for the driver out of California.
Dutch Westbrook and Jake Manalio, we know, will be in the fight as well. Brody Stoffel at him and Lucas Tarango in there for Ryan Perry Motorsports alongside Jaden Francisco, Mason Brody. Let's put it this way. Ryan Perry Motorsport has got a stacked field in this mini category, David.
Yeah, a lot of nitro karts under that 10 in the cadet categories, especially here in the mini ranks, including Brody Stoffel, as you said. He's 6th in the championship, so you got to expect a little bit of a better weekend for him. Did pick up a podium finish in round 2 at Tucson. I like drivers sitting in the top 10. Max Santana racing under Team Bennick. Aiden Go, a winner last weekend in the Sunday main event at the RMC America's Trophy for Pearland Motorsport USA. He'll be on the grid as well. So those are a couple of the drivers that I see as possible contenders this weekend.
Yeah, for PSL, let's wrap it up with Samuel Cheveri as well, right? Talking about him quite a bit in a lot of these races, as we do with Caden Cladera, Marcelo Flores. There's a lot of drivers that we're going to be watching here this coming weekend. Should be good stuff in the Mini Swift category.
Yeah, another notable, Forrest Blair, a former GFC driver, moving over to Pearland Motorsport USA. So that's a story to watch as well in this class. Yeah,
we'll keep an eye on that. So it'll be Go, Marcelo, and Blair at Pearland USA. So indeed, more bullets in the gun for Pearland USA as they get set to get out of here at the Spring Nats. Let's wrap it up with Micro Swift presented by Grupa Santana Vega. 25 entries, David, a couple of winners. Francesco and Sanders scored the wins out at Tucson. They lead the points over Wyatt, Bishop, and Pena. Lots of action in this category. The newest drivers into the Superkarts USA Pro Tour program. We'll see what happens when we go racing here on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, all 5 drivers in the field. And I think if I did my math correctly, I think we have the entire top 10 in the on the entry list. So that's good. It's, again, micro category. We saw it in Tucson, very competitive, a lot of shuffling throughout the race, and especially at the end of the race. I think that was the closest finish we had was in the micro Swift category with, I think, Trey Sanders picking up that win on Sunday. So, that's it's going to be a great race, I think, all weekend long in this category. One note, Dusty Strayer, 9th in the points right now. He's making the move over to TKG, Trinity Karting Group, on the Burrell Art brand. So that's a story to watch as the weekend goes on.
Yeah, so of course the drivers in the championship standings right now, Tristan Francisco, as we said, Trey Sanders, Bo Wyatt, Andres Pena, and Carson Bishop in the top 5 to fight it out there. David mentioned that one. What about Jack Katowski? Did not have the Tucson he wanted, not at all, but will be, I think, a driver that will be fighting for race wins. Again, he and his brother for Trinity Karting Group. That's the home track, right? They should have a lot of track time there. But Katowski's just been very strong to start the season, just didn't have a great Winter Nationals.
Yeah, the 6th place in the championship right now had a runner-up finish on Saturday outside the top 5.
What happened on Sunday? Do you remember?
I'm trying to think. I thought it was I thought he was penalized. Maybe to be honest, Rob, it's been so long. I can't remember.
It has been a long time.
When I write the preview, I'm going to know a little bit more about some of these stories, but I haven't had the chance to write the preview yet. Again, just getting the entry list this morning, and we got to get this podcast recorded, ready to go. So, I'll have to go back and read my notes from the race reports and see exactly what happened. It's tough to go by just the points I'm looking at right here.
Good enough. Yeah. So there you go, folks. A good reason to read David's preview, not just listen to the podcast, because there will be more information there.
Or go back and read my articles from the weekend, as we probably should have done.
We probably should have did that. Yeah. I'm going to start doing that from now on, Dave. Maybe that'll work. My memory's not what it used to be, especially when the race was like 2 months ago, for God's sakes, right?
That's the hard part. Yeah. I haven't been to a race since, so you'd think I'd remember, but everything's been a blur the last 2 months.
It has. You've got a lot of stuff going on with the fam for sure. Well, folks, that wraps things up for this edition of the EKN OutLap, our preview podcast. As we said, remember, all part of the EKN Trackside coverage that we'll have. David will have his preview. When are you going to post that, David? Probably Thursday, right?
Yeah, Thursday sometime, as we either before I travel or as we travel.
That's it. We're traveling down on Thursday. Look for the Paddock Insider on Friday. And, of course, coverage all weekend long. The daily race reports, the top tens, all the work that David puts in throughout the weekend to keep everybody connected to the events through the EKN Trackside program. Looking forward to, again, for me, David, getting down to Motorsports Country Club for the first time. I've never been there. I don't know how it kind of happened. Always some... For the most part, over the last 17 years, I haven't missed a lot of these Pro Tour races, one or two here and there with my conflicts with the USF Pro Championships. But for some reason, the conflicts always come when we're heading to Motorsports Country Club. So excited to get down there to see the bailiffs at their track and finally get a chance to have a look at this place.
Well, like we said, it's only the third time that Superkarts USA has been there. So you've missed two. So you're 1 for 3. It's not a bad batting average.
Yeah, but listen, I don't think has there been a weekend that I've only got one? I don't think I've missed 2 Pro Tour races, have I? I think it's usually just been one a year. I can't remember.
Well, last year it was, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, we're there. SpringNationals coming up this weekend. Final thoughts, Dave?
Yeah, excited. I hope the weather cooperates. That's my main concern, obviously. We want to either it's going to rain all day or not rain. That'd be the positive.
Either or.
Either or. I'd prefer it not to rain. So that's always that. But again, weather, you never quite know what's going to happen. But yeah, I got to expect great racing all weekend long. Again, tight facility, not a big chance to break away. Especially with the fields that we do have. So going to be an exciting weekend. Again, midway point for the SCUSA Pro Tour. So even though you're not thinking points, I think you still got to think points.
Agreed.
Moving throughout the weekend.
So pack your rain gear, folks, if you're coming to the Motorsports Country Club. It could be a wet one. We'll see how it all plays out. Looking forward to getting down there, as we said. Trackside coverage starting on Friday with the Paddock Insider. And a big thank you to Comet Kart Sales for being our presenting sponsor of episode 107 of the EKN OutLap. Looking forward to get back down to a karting event. David, as he says, has been home for a couple of months. He's ready to go as well. Cannot wait to get there. And we'll see you all trackside in Cincinnati. Looking forward to it for sure. On behalf of David Cole, folks, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.